I encourage you to feel your feet on the ground, make yourself comfortable. Light language will start to come through as we ground us into our space. Malakai tarariki tararakai. Hai arariki. Tune in with your breath, where it's settling in your body, whether it's up high or dropping down into your gut, into your belly. Hey, how your head feels as we tune into circuit of light. Quite often we can get an influx of pressure in the head. Just move your jaw, wriggle your pelvis, your hips. Hai arariki. Hai, 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 hai. Okay, I feel lots of birds coming through, which is a new one for me, which is really lovely. Haerekea, coming into land. They've come home. My resonation with Sacha, my daughter who passed February 23, is a seagull. It's not just strange enough. I guess I love being on the water, but I also love being on the water where I can still see the shore. And I like being in the bush where I live and hearing the seagulls come in and then feeling the energy go out to the sea. So for me, it's the best of both worlds. They have the freedom of the ocean and the connection to all of our world, as well as the protection and the comfort and the seclusion of our forests. I see them on the football field down in the valley here, huddling in for the night. When I'm walking in the bush, I see them circling the cloud formations around me. Sacha's come through as a native hawk, which we don't often see here in Wellington. We do have a bird wildlife sanctuary nearby, and they have them there, which I guess they've moved out into the areas of Wellington from there. But yeah, bird life, spirit, energy, frequency of our loved ones that have passed over are connecting to us. And bringing that through, I have a new energy form that shifted me through. Oh, I'm about to talk about it. So my throat starts to choke up a little bit. It shifted me through a level of my grief from encouraging me to let Sasha go, not being able to let her go, but encouraging me to let her go. And obviously I don't want to. I want to speak and feel Sasha around me when she passed. My eldest daughter, Natasha, is an anchor and she guides passing souls over to the afterlife. So I was in the space with Sasha as she left her bodysuit and became energy form, and then her bodysuit carried on its process of dying. Um, the vessel had no longer life in it. The Sasha I knew died then, and the energy of Seraphina became more clean and clear to me because she's left the bodysuit of Sasha that I knew, and now she is her own energetic being again, free of a bodysuit. So this being that came through was educating me on opening up the awareness to see and communicate with her as Seraphina, and that would help me move forward in my life with Sacha. So I've always said that I will always have access to Sacha, and it's now learning how to live with her differently, which is Seraphina, and to have that real tangible encouragement or suggestion from my team to see her as Seraphina, see her as energy force that was my Sacha, but as Seraphina. It will help me move forward. But there's so much of me, Vicki mum to Sacha, that just does not want to let that go. And when we lose a loved one, we want to hold on to them. But them that we know is no longer available to us. We may think that they are and want to feel that they are. As I say that, I can feel Seraphina coming in behind me, just like Sacha would. She'd come in and lean over me and hug me and love taking photos and selfies. So we're very lucky we have lots of images, which after the masterclass was actually quite hard to see her in these images because I really wanted to grasp her. I didn't want to move on like my guide had asked me to. to open up the crossroads and to see myself moving forward with this new version of Sacha. That is her spirit, which is Seraphina. Communicating with our loved ones through grief and seeing them as no longer in their earthly bodysuits to you, if you have the viewpoint or you really feel that you have a spirit still around you, that still happens because sometimes they don't want to go to the afterlife. Sometimes they don't want to leave this earthly dimension, one, because they can't, or one, they don't want to. So, Ailiki, whereas Sasha, she had her spirit knew she was coming to an end, and there were lots of signals and signs to Natasha and I that we just didn't want to listen to. And we couldn't have changed anything, even if we wanted to. But hindsight is wonderful, isn't it? After the fact that this means more now, we're aware of the process that we've just been through. Natasha as an anchor guiding Sasha on. Sasha chose when she was going to leave her body. Her bodysuit was no longer a viable vessel for her life form here. So her spirit left and she went through Natasha, and that's what Natasha's goddess self in the afterlife. She straddles the earthly dimension as the earth goddess as well as the afterlife goddess. So Sasha went through her bodysuit to the afterlife, and my father, who this is a bit where you might feel a bit, oh, this is really confusing. I have a loved one who I do feel so close because they quite likely could be. But Sasha's not. Her spirit is, but Sasha isn't. Whereas dad, who died, oh, I don't know, probably about 20 years ago now, he's in the afterlife as spirit form and he's not gone on to source energy. Sasha's Seraphina is source energy. She's moved on to create energy. So that's why she can body as a seagull or a hawk or a butterfly or walk and feel form around me. She's part of my cosmic team now. She's part of my creator energy team that I work with when I do my sessions. Dad, I guess he's waiting for mum or mum needs him, so he's around here more. He can't come into this earthly dimension, being passed for too long. The veil I have access to look through now. It's like a cosmic bowl, a portal is listening. So when Natasha went through the anchoring of Sasha's spirit from her bodysuit and guiding her to the afterlife, my dad was in the afterlife. He was supporting Natasha's physical form on that side. And Trish, a very good friend of ours, passed 5 years ago, 4 years ago, was still able to come through, and her spirit essence was in the hospital room with Sacha. Natasha also guided Trish on. Feeling the spirits around you and connecting to your loved ones, there's that knowing that they're true or real, or if it's just your mind talking to you. Food affects my mind, and if I have chocolate or sugar that night in sleep or the next day, I will start to have intense mother's guilt, run off storylines of all the things I did wrong, and really play just the hurt and the grief and just be completely immersed in it. And I could let my brain go into that, or I can step out of it and connect with Seraphina, which is what the guide was wanting me to connect with, instead of feeling held back by wanting to connect to Sacha, my child, who's no longer, is holding me back in the time that she was here, instead of moving forward with her in a different way, which is more wholesome, which is more life light. It's more endearing to my spirit self moving forward and helping me, Vicki, create the things that I want to create to experience in this life as programs or workshops for people to develop more of themselves. So tapping into Seraphina and allowing her to speak means I have to get into my body. I have to go through the journey of the noise, the distraction, the heartache, the grief, and allow that voices in my head to settle, and then feel my breath in my body, feel my bodysuit, feel seated, connecting a source through. Hey, I'm holding a circuit with my life form with Sacha, connecting to spirit self. Seraphina. And then slowly this life form to Sacha will open. Yeah. So we need to meet these other layers before we can access ourselves. And that's not nice all the time, but when we know and practice our team and our feeling of what it feels like to be in our body, I now feel that spark go through me, or those threads run through me, that I'm whole. I'm now in my bodysuit, and I can feel my, what I call my pot of light. It's my veil of light around me. I can feel it radiating this white light, and it gets bigger and bigger. When we're in our head, quite often we can feel trapped and restricted, but when our light is around us, once we're in our body and our light is around us and our circuit is complete, like a beautiful oval egg, and you're in the center of it, it can, like sound waves, radiate out and get bigger. And then you've got more buffering between your physical form and your energetic veil. Protection. And then have more access to Seraphina. I'm lighter. I can talk to her through intuition, through telepathy. So you're not saying it out loud, or you're thinking these thoughts, and she's answering them. Now you might bring in your journaling. Here, your light language that I speak also has pictures and coding. So I will draw that in my journal, and then I will speak when I'm not quite sure who it is I'm working with. I will say the name, and if I can't be free through energy, letting energy flow through me, my Nahika is my spirit self, letting Nahika flow through me from my hand to the pen on the paper, and I'm trying to write what I think the energy is that I'm writing, which is what I was doing this morning, it won't write. So it'll scribble itself out. And then I'll take a breath, and then I'll write again and let spirit tell me. And then I can write out the name of the being that I'm working with, the energy form, the entity. And then opening the book up, I've got one side with collating my team, doing the light language coding that correlates to that team, tapping into my correlation of my light language coding, where I am, like the circle of light with the dot in the center, the I am essence, where you draw a circle and then a dot. And you need to be free with it, because the dot will be your physical vessel in your circuit of light, and it gives you a visual, tangible viewpoint for your human brain to tap into. But again, you've grounded into your body and you are whole. So your ego is more quiet, but you're giving your ego mind something else to work with, because it's seeing information as you're writing it down, and it's processing it. And then it gives you back some correlating information to how you've been and how you can put it to use. Sometimes that can go on a tangent of itself. So you do need to bring it back in, because you don't want your brain telling you what's happening. You want to be free for spirit to flow through you to what is happening. And again, like any exercise that you do, whether it's physical or mental, spiritual is practiced. It's a practice so that your person can trust it. I've been doing this since 2017 as my creator energy, but prior that I was a advanced practitioner of orthobonomy, and I started my practitionership in 2007. Sacha was only 3 years old and I started studying orthobonomy. And then that was my life. I thought I was gonna be an orthobonomist forever. Little did I know that Source had a different version for me. So again, these crossroads, what is it that you're feeling out of sorts with yourself? You don't know what you want to do. So the crossroads is about meeting you in a place so that you can allow spirit and your team to help you navigate that, which is what in the masterclass we were blinkered so we could only see so much. When we have all of this available to us, it's really distracting. We can't make a decision. There's so much noise in our life these days, which is extremely hard. By navigating in and blinkering, which is grounding into your body, taking time and space to do your meditations, to tap in with your team and take the time for it to happen, because my ego especially in grief, it runs away with me at the drop of a hat. So I have to quickly interrupt it before it goes off and takes me with it. I have to quickly recognize it's going a direction I don't want it to go and get in there first and then come back into center. The best way to do that is to wriggle your feet on the ground, to feel the breath of oxygen flowing through your body, to feel the breeze outside, to look outside and see what nature is doing. Nature is a great mirror. When it's dark and stormy and rainy outside, quite often I'm feeling that inside. So what do I want to do? I want to huddle up. I want to watch TV. Sometimes that's not always the best thing for me, depending on what I'm watching. Sometimes I tap into my own YouTube videos or my previous masterclasses because that's what I need. I need the reminder. I need the reminder for my team to be speaking back to me and to absorb it differently than the developer and the creator and the flower out. I need to just sit back and just absorb it around me again, accessing those memory glands in my body, the DNA in my system to reactivate. Tara hichkaterere ki. Hayalalala hachkaterere ki, tarara kai, tarara ki, tararo kumanana hiki. Kayalalala hakaterere hirere ki rarakai. Hulololo kutur inenene hiki tarara kai, tarara kai, tarara ki. So from my team to yours, thank you for joining me today. We went through a few different things of grief for our loved ones passing over, letting go their human essence and seeing them as their spiritual self, their spiritual essence, or also meeting them as their spirit self, like my father, who's not source energy, whereas Sacha is source energy. If you feel that your loved one is here and they are, excuse me, my dog is wanting to come in. If you feel like they're trapped here and it's time for them to go or you're needing to move on, I will put a link to my daughter Natasha where she can help as an anchor your loved one pass on. I think that's about it. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next time.